What is up, guys? Welcome back to Shoebox, the podcast, number one shoe podcast in the world, in my world. And I'm your host, Chewy.
I'm your host, Oscar.
Anthony.
It's Anthony. And,
It's the boy.
and today we're going to have a different kind of podcast. We're going to go on and talk about how if you wanted to become a reseller, what good tips you would want to know going into it and understanding before you actually try to do this.
Yeah.
Because this is for us, it's been a journey to get to where we're at, and we're still growing and we're still learning a lot of things. And we want to inform people that actually want to get into it, because that's what we're trying to be as well, being an informative channel for you guys, especially on our TikTok as well too. We want to let people know about what's hot and
just educate a little bit more about the culture.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's a lot.
there's a lot to it, and there's a couple little things you just need to start off with, good tips, good steps. And the first step we want to talk about is how do you get the money to actually start to resell. For me, it's always been one of those things where I don't ever want to put myself in a risky situation where I'm not gonna have any money. So I definitely think about saving part of my paycheck, because I usually work bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, take out $100-$200, and try to build yourself up a little pot of money and put it to the side.
And it doesn't have to be a lot,
Again, yeah, whatever you want to invest into it, you can save $400 and you got maybe 3 shoes, depending on the models you get. Save $500. It depends on how much you want to go into it with. So I definitely think about you don't want to be putting yourself in a bad position when you're buying shoes. So definitely think about it and figure yourself up, give yourself a plan basically to how I'm going to buy these shoes, and not just spend all your money on them. And then we'll go into why that would be a bad idea.
Yeah. I think to add a little bit to that, because you made a good point where it's you don't want to put yourself in a position. I think I've had success too where sometimes you're not in a very good position where maybe you barely make enough to you just pay for your basic needs, and then you have a little bit of extra money that you're trying to save that you don't really have to risk. I've always had that idea of a lot of times you may have already made some purchases that have money invested that you can just liquidate and stuff like that. So people who are into sneakers tend to already have somewhat of a sneaker collection, and I've always been the type of person to say reach into that, use those sneakers that you already have to gain liquidate a little bit, and get some money, so then that way you can invest into something like sneaker reselling. And it doesn't even always have to be shoes. Maybe you have some clothes, maybe stuff you don't wear anymore, doesn't fit, but it has some type of a value, resale value. And if you're really down, get rid of your Xbox or your PlayStation, just got to do what you got to do. It's just, I guess, how committed you are and how much you really want to be in this business. I feel you can always find a way to make a little bit of money.
Download the mobile app.
Well, what I was gonna say for the younger crowd, that if people are still in school, they could always do side jobs and mowing lawns.
Yeah.
And depends what area, what we were talking about, if they could shovel snow.
Oh yeah. If you get the snow,
and house chores.
Yeah. If you're in a position where your parents can help out, I feel hey, I'll mow the lawn too. Give me $100. No, I'm just kidding.
Save those allowances.
Yeah.
If you get one.
So I think the biggest thing is try to save it. And
what I was saying, that was if you have that favorite uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, when you start becoming a reseller, you become a hustler. So you kind of start seeing little things you can do, I can make $5, $10 off this, or DoorDash, or all
it's a little bit of you gotta go into it with that mindset of how do I make money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time too, I feel in the sneaker culture, you also have to have love though for that culture.
Oh yeah, for
and then
sure.
That's what we're saying. I feel there's a lot, because you gotta understand.
If you're just going in for the money, it's
you're gonna have a harder time.
Yeah. There's gotta be a passion there too. With anything you do in life, you need to actually be passionate about it.
Yeah.
And that's how you're gonna find people that are credible and you want to buy from.
Yeah, for sure.
And their stories. They've been through. Reselling.
Yeah, the stories are always awesome.
Yeah.
Step number 2 though, let's get into it. Sourcing the shoes. And there's like a lot of different ways you can do this. Obviously, you know, if it was a perfect world, we could just walk into a store and buy the shoes we want that are like popular. But for the most part, usually when that happens, that usually doesn't happen. I mean, usually those shoes sell out right away. People buy them up like they know. Or a lot of times those shoes are going to be
Get backdoored.
Get backdoored, obviously. But, you know, a lot of like nowadays with like a lot of the retailers, it's online. You have to do... It's an online raffle, so those pairs they're getting in, they're not gonna have them for like the people. They're just like what is it called again?
Like a walk-in.
Yeah, like a walk-in customer. They're gonna be like put to the side for the people that have the online app for Champs, Foot Locker, those places. They're gonna have those shoes ready to go for those people that like
chose to do pickup.
Yeah, chose to do pickup on a raffle. So a lot of times you do need to have all these apps like the Foot Locker app, the Champs app, the Nike sneakers app, Adidas if you want to, you know, take that risk. Dick's Sporting Goods, JD Sports. There's a lot. There's a lot of guys, and like you got to have all those apps and keep those all in mind when you're like trying to like start getting a product in. Like when you're starting to buy products. Sorry guys. You know, keeping an eye on the calendar and when the shoes are releasing.
Yep.
And entering every single raffle that for a shoe that is actually going to, you know, make you some money. Because you, again, like we've talked about it before, you don't want to be buying and you don't want to enter into any raffle just because it's a popular shoe, but we'll go into that later. And also Twitter is a really big thing too. Like he uses Twitter a lot for links, you know.
Mostly for like restocks.
Yeah,
because Twitter's really good at like there's some pages out there, I don't remember the name, so you might have to do research on that. But there's like some, you set your notifications and they'll tend to like let you know when and we've gotten lucky that way too.
So, you know, I think a big tool that you're going to definitely need to be utilizing is apps and like having multiple accounts or as many accounts as you can. Girlfriend, mom, brother, dead relatives, anything you guys I'm kidding guys. But like I'm just joking, but like, you know, try to get as much accounts available to you so you can enter as many raffles for shoes that are going to be popular.
Just you're kind of fortunate that we live in this tech world where it's like you can just enter you know, within like 2 minutes and stuff like that. You just got to put in the effort. But like you're saying, it is a lot harder. It's definitely like one of the hardest, like even with so many like platforms and stuff like that, like your chances are still really low because like you're not the only one. Like everybody is trying to get them, you know. They're like, we saw the last Travis Scott release where they had maybe 100,000 pairs, right? And there was like 2 million entries that like entered for it. So it's like your chances are like 2%. Which is like really low. So I'm more of like, I've always told people like, you know, you also like have the opportunity to make money still by buying from other resellers as well. And that's what my tip has always been, is like you got to like educate yourself a little bit about the market, have some type of a game plan, know which shoes you're going after, and going after every like local sellers, because local sellers tend to, you know, if they do hit locally, they'll post those shoes right away. So invest in that time to make those connections and like find those pages through like Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, and even like some of the sneaker events. When you go to sneaker events in your area, you know, you can go there and meet some people and negotiate. And with your game plan, like I said, if you know what shoes you're going after, you kind of go in there, attack it, and you're just looking for that shoe because you're going to get a lot of no's. So sharpen your negotiation skills. I would say, like if you're going to go into buying from resellers, make sure that you know what's a good price point that you're paying. And we were talking about like if you're just watching other resellers like on their YouTube channels and stuff like that, you'll tend to see kind of where like their price points are at. And then you can kind of like leverage certain things like that and stuff like that. And you can even show people like, don't be scared to use StockX, and show people like this is how much it's worth, like on here, this is what you'll get your payout and stuff like that, and use that as a negotiation tool. And then you can also even like if you're not just wanting to get a shoe to flip right away, there's also ways for you to like hold a pair. Like you buy a pair, hold it for a couple months, and then sell once the market goes up. But that's a little bit more complicated, and I don't usually recommend that for somebody who's just starting. And you know, it's a little more risky. And like we were talking about, like, you know, you save this money up, sold all this, you put in a lot of work. The last thing you want is like your money just to like disappear so fast because you invested in the wrong shoe and you held that pair for, you know, you thought it was going to go up to 300 and it actually goes down $100. But
you want to minimize as much risk.
Minimize it.
Well, what I was going to talk about is when you're buying shoes, you got to be buying from like reputable resellers and like be like knowing what you're buying that's not like fake or anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what should they invest in?
Oh, dude, you gotta invest in the black light.
Sheesh. Yeah, it's like the easy, like one of the easiest way to spot a fake.
Like you could buy one of these, but you gotta know what you're doing with them.
Mhm.
You could just, if you're not informed.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
if you don't know how to use this, like you can just be like just showing this off. But like there's usually like glueless things, like ghost lines, like and fake pairs and stuff.
There's a lot of like things like little like isn't like the on the labels of like Yeezys, like it's usually if
like
it's a fake.
Well, they usually come from like China. Or
Yeah.
You should like have a stamp on them.
Yeah, the boxes. But there's a lot too that like I said you can educate.
You need to educate. Watch tutorial videos.
Yeah,
I've done it.
So like I guess kind of like secure investment. Make sure you're not buying something fake.
You don't want to put all your money into like something, then like you find out it's like not real.
Yeah, and I think we always say like if the deal's too good to be true, like stay away from it.
Probably is, you know.
Yeah.
Or you were saying like you can just go somewhere like you can.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say, you could meet up with the like at a like a resale shop and like have them like
authenticate them.
Yeah, I mean if you're still sketch like especially if it's like a really expensive like for a pair, like I feel like you don't want to invest $500-$600 and it ends up being fake.
'Cause I've seen like resellers that do it for a while and then like they get on a deal where like they're gonna get like a shoe that's like $1,000 shoe but they're getting it for a good price. And it's like
you get excited. I feel like
they like you can get really excited and like you're like, oh, you think this person's legit, but then like if you buy the shoe then it's fake, you just lost like $900 or like something like that.
I've been there.
You are going to those shops too. You can always have their like if they have the same pair.
You can look at it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And compare them.
Just really informing yourself on like what you're buying and like these are all going to be very helpful. So
educate.
Buying fake shoes is not fun, guys. Trust me. So we're gonna go into step 3 actually. What shoes you should be buying, which sounds like it's not that difficult, but just because a shoe is popular doesn't mean like example like a Dunk or like a Jordan 4, like just because the shoe is popular itself doesn't mean the colorway is popular. There's like two different things. They can release a couple pairs of Jordan 1s and like you think they're cool, but like the community doesn't think they're cool, so the value goes down, and also the amount of the shoe that gets released, because that can brick the shoe. And what a brick is just like a shoe that doesn't want to move prices. It's just staying like you're gonna buy
basically retail almost.
You're gonna get back what you paid for it. Maybe in a lot of situations, like right now, we're seeing that like a lot of those bricks are going down to like you're losing like $40, $50. So really educating yourself on the new colorways that are coming out and like the color blocking and like how this is actually like doing like the vibe of the shoe in the community, and if it's like popping, and if it's not, it's not good. So that's why we tell you guys to like follow like channels like us, obviously.
I would say like that. Like what I was saying was like you got to just watch like all these people, like just.
And like we're talking about these stuff all the time about like shoes that are going to be bricks, or like obviously like we might sound a little like aggressive about it, but like we are talking about like this is like an actual opinion, and like we talk about releases every month, like what's going to be hot, what's going to be not. And there's other pages that do it too, so like you can kind of gauge like the room basically.
Let's like just copy the formula, like basically like that. If somebody's being successful at doing one thing, all you got to do is just watch them and just replicate it. And that goes for like any industry. I feel like is like it's the same thing with like a stock portfolio. Like if you see what kind of stock people are buying and stuff like that, like that's the same thing you want to do with shoes. You see what this page is consistent. Like if you see a page consistently restocking on Panda Dunks, it's for a reason. Like they sell. You know what I mean? Like that's a simple like formula for that. You can also even like before they come out, if you look at like celebrities or like things that like they're wearing or people that like even before they release they release, you'll see a lot of like influencers or like celebs wearing shoes. That will give you a pretty good aspect of like if they're wearing it, that means they're giving like a wider audience like a look at that shoe, and a lot of people are going to try to follow and stuff like that too. So those are just the minor tips I would say for as far as like what shoes.
And
well, what I was gonna say was like every time I like try to look for shoes for us and stuff,
to like sell,
and like I always go to StockX and like use like their search bar, or like I usually go for like the popular trends and see what's like what are people looking at, and like what are people buying.
Yeah. And I think you can also like use that through StockX and see like what's popular, and then also like what's moved in volume like within like the year and stuff like that. So like if like Panda Dunks are like what, I think they're like 200,000 pairs for the year.
Yeah,
it's like that makes you a good idea that like that's not a bad purchase at all, like ever, because there's so many being sold.
Yeah, and I think I give another little tip on like, you know, if you see a colorway and you wouldn't buy it, you know,
use your instincts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
You know, what we were saying, like you would just know, like you can try as much to be like, would I wear this, or how easy would this be to wear?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and those are kind of giveaways. Like something that's just simple, like a 2-tone.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
A lot more easier to wear
like,
than something that's got like 3 tones, 4 tones.
Yeah. That's why a lot of dunks are really like successful. There are some bad colorways, but you know, when you get the 2 colorways, 2 colors, 3 colors to a shoe, you know, you really can't go wrong. So like, for sure, like use your instincts and like really think about like, I don't really see myself wearing this. Also for me, like working retail for so long, I'll see something that I don't think that I would look good in, but like, do I think I see other people wearing it as well?
Right.
So like, you don't have to like something, but you know, you can see like, oh, this is gonna look really cool on somebody, like, you know,
like for me it's like girls, you know what I mean? Like obviously I wouldn't wear it because I feel like it's a girl color, but I'm like, in my head I'm like, but a girl will look really good in that color.
Like it's gonna look, you gotta like think about like, you know, the people around you,
you're
selling to, you know,
seasons too. I feel like it's an important thing too.
Yeah,
like you got to think about summer, winter, fall. What shoes do you think people would be wearing? Yeah, like what colors are gonna be popular around that time too.
Yeah.
So
fall colors, guys.
Fall.
Pumpkin spice.
Dude, check this out. Flannel dunks.
Dude,
$1 million.
That'd be kind of hard, actually.
Nike.
Some red ones. That'd be fire. Nike. Flannel dunks.
Get at me, Nike.
Don't steal my ideas. So we also got step number 4. How are you gonna make your money?
How do you make money?
Well, for me anyways, we want to be selling to like the end consumer, which that means is like somebody who's actually going to wear the shoes.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah. So when you start, you know, we would say like make your own page on like, you know, Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, you know, and start like building a little community around like, you know, where you live at.
Exactly.
You know, and try to get like some people to buy your shoes so they can get talking like, oh, had a really good experience.
Yeah, that's important.
You know, give them a great experience, you know, let them, you know, give them a shout out, you know.
I think like a good thing to take is like, in order for you to sell, you want to like have that energy to sell. Like you want to sell in order to sell. If that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah. So you gotta have to put yourself out there a little more, and really just give them the best experience possible, and really like, you know, like when they talk about your page or like who you are, they're like, I had a great, like, that was easy. He wasn't like, you know.
That's a good one. Like he was easy. Like,
yeah, he was like, he pulled up he like came to me
on time.
On time. I was late. And like, you know, just really like show them like, you know, I'm not gonna like, this is
caring.
Like, you know, you're just like a very chill person. Give off a good vibe, you know. You definitely want to be like standoffish.
Yeah, I think another thing too that sometimes people don't talk about is like, for us at least, I feel like when it comes down to like people trying on shoes, we tend to not really care as much. Obviously we tell them, you know, if we're like outside in a concrete, like if you might not stepping like on the floor, but like I feel like that adds a little extra where sometimes people like will be like, oh, I'm not sure if that's my size or not. You can just say, hey, you know, try them on.
Yeah,
you know, worst case it's like I'm gonna be honest, most of the time when they try it on, they buy it. They just feel like, damn, like I already tried them on.
It builds like that ownership, you know.
Exactly. And then
sorry, I was gonna say,
go ahead,
one more thing, then I just forgot it, so you go ahead.
I was gonna say the cool thing about Instagram is that there's no fees and stuff like that. So if you go towards channels like eBay, Go, StockX, they all have like a seller fee and stuff like that. When you start building your own community, like how you were saying, it's like you would never have to pay anybody a fee. And Instagram, it's like, it's free. You can also use Facebook Marketplace. That's one of the places where I move pairs, and I still move pairs on there because, you know, you see a crowd of people who just are just searching, looking for stuff, and maybe don't want to wait. Like, you know, they want it now. They're the end consumer, and they're going to pay you more.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to add to that.
Yeah. Again, no fees. You're not spending any money. No more extra money than you need to. That's like always like the best. You don't want to
money.
Save as much money as you can because you want to be reinvesting all the money you do make back into the business or what you're doing it for. You know.
Yeah. For sure.
And like when do you have anything to add?
What I was gonna say is like if you're holding shoes, like try to sell to like resell shops and like it's kind of hard for me to say this.
Yeah.
No, I okay.
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. This is basically the idea is like if you bought and invested, like I said, it's a little bit of a more like harder method, like I said, because the market's unpredictable. But if you get good at it and you end up buying a shoe and you hold it and it goes up, I think the easiest way to get rid of it is just going to like a resale store.
Let's say you bought like a lot of like
pandas.
Yeah, pandas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the market's not like
market goes up
or up
or you buy them at low.
Yeah,
it goes up.
And it goes up, right, and that's
like you can just cash out.
I think I think from my experience, it's always been too like most other resellers when a shoe hits a certain threshold, like they'll stop buying it. Like for example, like militaries for us, like military fours, you know, at one point they were like 300, 320 max, and we were buying them, selling them 350, 360.
Yeah.
But once they hit like 400, 410, 420, like other like end buyers weren't buying them as much because they were getting so much, at least from us. So there was no point in us for buying that because then we couldn't sell it for a little bit more. Like people aren't buying it from us for like 450. But if you go to like, let's say you had some pairs and you were holding them and they hit that 400 threshold, you can go to like a resale store and they'll pay you pretty close to that, like 380, because they have the walk-in consumers that will pay a little bit more than somebody who's buying somebody from like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Yeah. And that's like a big secret sauce, like like when it comes to like holding pairs. Yeah.
And like just being, it's all about timing really.
Yeah.
And just like being like on it, you know.
Yeah, but it is riskier. So I don't, like I said, I like if you're just starting off and you wanted to play it safe, like I wouldn't suggest going that route. But if you feel risky and you got some money to like, I guess, lose, I guess, if you had if money that you wouldn't mind losing, I guess. Yeah. Just go for it.
No, I was gonna make a joke. I was like, what he said, that's what I was thinking.
Right. I think it's also like doing that route, you're not gonna build as much of a clientele.
Yeah.
So that is my thing, that like I want to be like meeting the people and like, you know, having interactions with the you know, people around us, and that's really gonna like spread your name, like, you know, across, you know, where you live and like, you know, around like the areas.
Because if you just go to like those shops, like the shop's gonna know you, but like everybody else, like who won't ever, you know that you exist if that's only the thing that you focus on. And some people don't care. Some people don't want that. Some people don't care about that.
I mean, like there's different types of resellers. So like people that hold and they like have a variety of everything.
Yeah. Or some people just want to be in like the game. They like just like wearing like they like having shoes. Yeah. And they like to buy and then like, you know, make a little profit and like just kind of be around. That's a community too, guys. So it's also like, you know, some people are just kind of doing it for the fun of it. Yeah. You know, for sure. It just depends on what you want to do too. And then for us, it's like we want to be able to grow, you know, something great.
Yeah, and have that experience with the consumer. Yeah. I feel like we like to enjoy that, like that experience of like buying a new shoe and stuff. So
yeah, and for me too, it's like, you know, like I said, I work retail, so it's like I love like, you know, making them feel happy and making their day better, you know.
Yeah. So that's like, cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm more fulfilled.
Yeah, in a way. Like I might not be buying them, but you are, and I just want to see you buy them. Like,
and I want to see you hyped. Like you want to see you happy. Like you're like, he's got these, you know.
Yeah. It's a good feeling. And like I said, it's
awesome. You know,
those are things that you'll never be able to replicate. I feel like, and it's just the reason that a lot of people are in this game. Like I said, the money's cool because it can sustain you. You know, eventually make it a full time. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, we enjoy ourselves genuinely.
Yeah. Sick.
Anything else?
I think I'm good. Again, we'll talk more about this stuff. Yeah. We're going to try to make a series about this, or like, you know, go in more in depth. Like if you guys have questions, just leave it on the comments. We'll try to answer as many as we can. You know, we'll probably answer them all.
Yeah, we'll probably answer all of them. So, you know, drop any more questions or anything like that. Like as far as reselling, like any questions, like I said, but if anything, we'll just round it up because we'll make probably separate videos.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about like cleaning shoes, buying used shoes too. Vintage.
Yeah, I'm like
like
cleaning expert.
Yeah.
So like we want to talk about all these other aspects of it because there's a lot that goes into it, and we're just kind of like giving you like a quick rundown of like if you wanted to do it like in the next couple weeks or like tomorrow, what you should think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, hit us up, like our Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We're trying to build it up to 10K, so
we're about to hit 3. So
please support, guys. Yeah, and then
that's it, guys.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace.